Hey, what's up, guys? It's T-Bone here. Welcome to another stream. And right now, I'm just going through some guild bosses, and I'm also just doing some fights right now as we wait for the stream to officially start. In today's episode, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at some of the decks here, and actually, this is one of the decks I wanted to showcase, and it's a little bit unorthodox, but it also works really well, which I'm happy about. So the goal is to take a look at also what you're working with to hopefully help with building up a deck here. There's more cards in this particular event than usual, and so I have received some questions on, hey, what are some of the best cards to use, and also what are some of the activation orders here. And so I just wanted to take some time here to check out the cards and also talk to you about the cards I'm using. So just saying hi to the stream here. Hello, everybody. I'm seeing Duppy and Sandra Lawrence and Mount Fillmore, Kevin Jackson, and we have Debbie Moss. Good evening and good morning and hello to everybody here. So just wanted to say that Mount Fillmore, yes, as you know, MTM and I actually keep in pretty close contact pretty often. We chat all the time. And so he's taking a break right now. That's what I will say. I can't speak for him. I do know that he needed some time. He did get frustrated with some of the things that are happening right now. But, my hope is that he'll, take a break and he'll come back and be good as new again. So, I'm keeping my hopes up. And, if he does decide to quit, then it's unfortunate. But like I said, I'm still keeping my hopes up on that. All right, so Lawrence Holden, I see that you do need some deck ideas. We'll definitely take a look there. And Duppy, I see your in-game name as well, so we'll start with that. And Shishma Johnson, welcome, and also Arya, Bruce, and Mysterio. Hello, everybody. All right, so first I wanted to talk about some of the decks that I'm using, and then we're gonna go and talk about what you guys are looking at, and we can see what we've got going on. So the first thing is I wanted to, just some quick updates. Right now, this is what I'm looking at in terms of my runes here. So I've got, 4 Master Collection card runes, and I have one of them as a duplicate rune, but I can craft up to 3 runes. So I am guaranteed to have a Master Collection card if I choose to do so. And I can also craft 1 ultra rune, so I'm just waiting, keeping my fingers crossed that I can get one of the 2 missing runes right now, and if I can, then I'll be able to forge the ultimate hero. It's just unfortunate that, it's taking me quite a while to collect my trophies. So I'm at 281 right now. I do need to get up to 340 million to get my my last collection ultra rune before I have to wait for the frenzy boss. So I do have, 2 chances there. Plus I do have the pack that I can open. I haven't opened the ultra pack yet. So if I go up to tier 3, that's at least another rune there. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm not sure if there is also going to be the bounty hunter event, because if there's a bounty hunter event this week, then I'll collect some more gems to help with that as well. So that's where I'm at right now. And so what we're gonna do is I'll talk about some of the deck I'm using. So because I only have 2 of the support cards for this event, I've got the Summer Alice and I have Hellboy. So I started by a deck that sort of used both of them. So I have Hellboy BP RD Agent. This is the one that you could get for $5 US. And this card actually will create 4 power gems, but it also provides a nuke damage. And so this creates 8 light gems, and it has a nuke damage. So in terms of a Slayer deck, when you pair up your card that deals nuke damage to your deck, one of the problems is as soon as you use that card, it will actually it will actually stop the turn, and then somebody else's attack will go in. So that's something to keep in mind. So one of the decks I'm using right now, I'm just kind of playing around, is using 3 of the support cards from the Light Slayer event. I actually have had very bad luck in Light Slayer events for the last couple of ones where I don't have a single event card that can produce power gem. So all I've got so far are support cards, so I'm really hoping for my runes to go my way. Anyways, I had Summer Alice and I have a Hellboy here, and then I have Assault Yuna Yoju from the previous event. So these are all gem spawners. And Summoner Alice works a little bit different than Hellboy, and so I'm going to showcase how this particular deck works. And then I have two, ultra rare cards from before, so this is not a card that I would expect everybody to have, but it is something that I think is, you can use other cards that produce power gems and you'll have similar you'll have the similar output, in fact better output as well. So Golden Guardian is one that will create 2 power gem force. So really I'm just using a card that creates power gems for me. You can replace this with a event card, for example, and that could do similar damage, especially if it's a generation 3 hero. I also have the Golden Warrior, which works like the Plagued Seraph. This is the commander version of it, where it will create light gems based on the number of gems on the board. And so this deck is all about, creating as many gems on the board as you can. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a quick fight right now with this team. And I'm going to talk about the other team as well. So at the same time, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to show you how the mechanic of Summoner Alice really works and how you can use it to your advantage. And then we will use that information as we go through your decks later to talk about that. So to start, one of the things that you want to do is you want to make sure that you can power up your gems, obviously. So when you're using a Summoner Alice type team, you're really talking about a 3-turn deck. And so what you want to do is you want to activate her skill first, and then you can then do a match. And you can see here, it actually does fill up the gem. Unfortunately, this boss actually has chaos, and I don't have chaos dispel, so that's unfortunate there. But the goal here is, if you had everything all filled up, then you could then use the skills here to then deal some damage. And if I hadn't been hit by chaos, so this is not a good boss to be testing against. And as you can see, chaos is not a good boss for this type of deck, where you need to have a deck that contains a lot of gems on the board. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the other team before I showcase this. And I'm actually using a full light human deck that includes Oglyph the Bomber Baron. This was a starter pack. I can't remember how many weeks or months ago, but this was a starter pack where you could also get a couple of Orasangs plus the ultra rare. So if you have this deck from the starter deck, this is another option that you can use. I'm going to show you how this particular deck works. So this one is not impacted by chaos at all. It is actually going to be impacted by something like Gem Silence or Power Gem Silence, but in this particular case, it's okay. So this also plays really well. And so all you have to do is, on turn 2, activate everything. You don't need to wait for Summoner Alice. It's one of those things where Summoner Alice's ability works. It doesn't always work well with all cards. And in this case, it doesn't quite work with, cards that are gem destroyers, for example. But you can see it actually deals a lot of damage here, because what this deck does, it will actually, create a lot of power gems really quickly on turn 2, and he has a 3-turn cooldown. And so all I'm doing is I'm using the Summoner Alice's empowered ability as a way to deal more damage. And you can see she was able to deal 11 billion in that single key fight. And so now, having done that, I'm going to go up against one of my bosses here, and hopefully I don't take it out too quick, but I will do this, and then we're gonna go take a look at the decks. So I do have it looks like there's a queue of people that are looking for deck ideas, so I will go through them in order, if you don't mind, as soon as I finish this one. And so this is probably not a similar. I'm not sure if people are using these decks, and obviously I don't have a lot of the cards there. And so one of the things I do want to take a look at is also what you're working with, so we can kind of talk about it. Like I said, there's a lot of choices here, and they're all I think they're all pretty good. So let's see this one. Okay, so this one doesn't cast chaos, so that's good. So you can sort of see this is, now we can see just the whole board is now filled with gems, and with this, I can deal pretty good damage with, 3 of the cards are from Generation 3 here, and the 2 cards on the left, my Golden Warrior and also my Golden Guardian are basically like support cards in this case. And I was able to deal a total of maybe 13 billion, I think, in this case. So let's take a look there. So actually about 12 billion. And so it's not bad. It deals about the same damage as my previous team, but it's just that the other team, I had the Master Collection card, Hero, and the Ultra Rare, and not very many people have that. All right, so let's take a look now and see what we've got. And so I know that Duppy is one of the first ones here, so I'm going to go and take a look here. Now, what did you guys think about the two teams that I showcased there? It's a little bit different, but mostly it's just because I don't have other cards to really work with. I've also considered using, Amy and also, basically using Amy and also Daniil as an option, but it's just that it doesn't work very well with Summoner Alice. And I'll talk about why later. So let's take a look at your team here. So we got, I think the first team is probably what you're going with. So we'll take a look at that. And so, this is basically a combination of the starter pack, the pro pack plus the event deck here. And these are basically all gem spawners except for Ben Daimo. And Ben Daimo will create, I believe, 3 power gems. So it will create 3 power gems here. And this is a level 5. And so the skills don't change, so you're still going to get the same number of power gems. And one thing to notice here too, this was brought to my attention as well, I didn't notice this. If you get Ben Daimo to Dispel Chaos at 6 stars, his Dispel value actually is only at 5. So his Dispel level is 5 rather than the regular expected value of 6 for other 6-star cards. So this is something to pay attention to, so that even with this card, you may not be able to Dispel Chaos all the time. So just keep that in mind there. All right, so some of the things I'm thinking about here is that, based on the fact that you have all Generation 3 cards, this is good. It's just that you're lacking on the power gems. And in Slayers, you do want to actually be able to deal more damage from having, power gem matches. And so if possible, you might want to consider bringing in other cards that can, create the power gems, even if it's a commander card. And so I see that you have a Kill Drone here. I can't remember what he does there. So this one doesn't have a cost for commander intensity, but it does only do 2 at a time, and you need to get skill points in order to get more. So this one will create 2 power gem 4s. That's one option. And so what's this? This one is Durus, and I think this one creates. Again, this one also has a dependency on the skill points there. And let's take a look at your other cards. So you've got Swine Lord Junfa. In some cases, in some way, I actually rather see this than all 4 support cards in there. And so let's take a look here. What else you've got? So I see. So Architect Sophia, unfortunately, doesn't work unless you actually have Alexa to go with it. And so based on what I'm seeing here, I see a couple of Orsangs and I see Aladdin. I think generally this is probably what I would do. So I would take out... I think you could safely take out Yuju, given that Yuju only gives a 4 times bonus there. So you could probably move away from that. And I think you could probably go ahead and put in either the Kill Drone or Swine Lord Junfa. Just so that you can get just a little bit more power gems. And then as normal, what you want to do is you want to activate Summoner Alice first. Activate Summoner Alice first, then activate your Ben Daimo and also your Swine Lord Junfa before activating Hellboy and Alice, so that you can fill the board, the rest of the board with your power gem, with your light gems. And in terms of the relics here, I think I'm not seeing anything wrong, except right now, as of right now, you have a relic that boosts demigod heroes. So keep in mind when you're using relics, keep in mind of the team that's actually being powered up here. You're not gaining any light gems, and you're also not getting any damage boost from this unless you put in a demigod card, in which case you could probably, if you wanted to, basically what you can do is you could replace one of them with your Morte Thronos, which I believe I saw. So let's just take a quick look there. And I think you got you also can put in Indasha. Indasha is another option where every 2 turns, he will create, light gems as well as a power gem there. Right, so you can also use that as an option as well. Although I think that just having the straight up power gem creation is probably a little bit better. I thought I saw you have Morte Thronos. Maybe I was wrong. So I think I was wrong there. So yeah, so I would take out that relic. Oh, you have Arabada. So I would take out that relic and then replace it with another one that boosts your light cards. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So I think I am looking at Sandra's team. So let's go ahead and you're next in line. And while I'm here, I'm just going to make sure that I also catch up on the chat here to make sure that I'm not missing anything there. Okay, and so looking at new people that are joining here: Joshua Davis, Matt, and I see Patrick, BMLO, and Bruce and Harry. Welcome to the stream. Thanks everybody. So I showcased two of my deck so far, and right now I'm just kind of going over and looking at what else you guys are doing. And so Sandra or Sandruxi, let's see here. So in general, like what I'm seeing here is I'm assuming that, in this case, it's not your avatar card. So as much as possible, use your Generation 3 support cards as leader, because this one will basically, this card as the leader only helps in GVG, so it's not a great leader for events. Leading with Summoner Alice or Hellboy is the better way to go, because it will, boost all light Slayer cards. And so in this case, I see you have Hellboy and you have Transform Daimyo, 2 Summoner Alice, and Orion. So Orion is good for getting that gem fall, and you want to activate the 2 summoners first. So that is a good, I see nothing wrong here. So let's just take a look at the rest of your collection and see if there's maybe something else that we could consider as well. And so right now, it's just unfortunate. I really like the Innovator Drosselmeyer, but it has a cost. So it does have 50 skill gem cost, and you can't really generate that in a Slayer event. So this card is effectively useless here. So that's really unfortunate. Otherwise, I would have definitely recommended that. And if you guys have May, the Master Collection card from the previous event, then that should be a no-brainer. You would definitely add that in there as well. And so here is something interesting. So I see that you have 2 copies of Primal Guardian, and I see also you have Ilona. And so I think you might want, and you also have Astral Judicator. So Astral Judicator is actually going to be better than your Orion in this case, because what it will do is Astral Judicator will actually destroy all non-light gems, and it will immediately spawn 2 light power gem 3s. And if you can get up to 100 giant intensity, you'll get 2 more. And so you're actually going to get better damage output by putting that card in there right now than not. And you also have the Furthering Force. So the Furthering Force is also a good choice here, because what it will do is it will create 4 light power gems every 2 turns. And so you're going to actually start with a really good sort of, you have 2 Furthering Force. And so what I recommend here is you should actually use this chance to build up a turn 1 deck. So this is actually perfect. So I'm going to use this opportunity to talk about the 2 things that you can do. The first thing you want to do is look for an opportunity to build a turn 1 deck. A turn 1 deck is a deck that on the very, very first turn gives you enough power gems on the board so that you could actually deal sufficient damage to take out the boss without waiting for the second turn. And when you have that deck, then and if you can deal enough damage there, you're always going to be guaranteed either 15% damage, 15% threshold, or sometimes even MVP. And so what you would do here is I would 2 copies of the Furthering Force, and that is really, really great actually. And any other card that can create gems on the, on turn 1, which is Endasha. I don't see Endasha here, but yeah, so 2 copies of Furthering Force would be good. And then I think with that, put in Endasha, and I think then I would put the Summoner Alice as lead, and then whatever has the highest attack. So that would probably be your Transform Daimyo. So yeah, so this is the team I would build. Transform Daimyo, one copy of Summoner Alice and Dasha, and 2 Furthering Force. And then, use as many relics as you can that generates light gems. And what you can do then is, with that deck, test out that deck on a guild boss, for example, see how much damage you are able to deal. That will be a really good first turn deck for you. And then for a deck but then a good first turn deck isn't always a good second turn deck. And so in that case, I think you might then consider replacing Orion with Astral Judicator in this case, and see if that does better damage. Okay, so give that a try and let me know what you think. I'm actually pretty excited to see how that works out. But I think that would be a good sort of two decks that you can build there, and I would definitely give that a try there. All right, yeah. So Sandra, yes, 2 Furthering Force. I would use 2 Furthering Force, 1 and Dasha, because they all create gems on turn 1, and then put the Summoner Alice and also Transform Daimon in your team. Okay, now let's see who is the next team here. And I wish I could test Dell, but I don't have the Furthering Force. But it's one of those teams that, once you try it and once you get it, it is really, really valuable. You can use it really quickly, and you can use it in many, many situations. All right, so Lawrence Holden, I don't see your in-game name though. So if you don't mind, let me know what your in-game name is, and I can take a look there. All right. So the next one is check me out, Chaos. Hokey is your in-game name also Hokey? Let's take a look. And looks like it is. So let's take a look. So you want to check out the Chaos deck? Okay, we could do that. So looking at the Chaos deck, which is the one that actually dispels Chaos? So that dispels counterattack. Does Orion dispel Chaos? I see. Okay, so you have Orion that dispels Chaos. That would be why. Yeah, so Mei is the card that I recommended because she will only require 25 skill point and will create 4 light power gen 4s. And let's see. So you have Plague Seraph, which is the other card that I recommended. Now the question I have here is, whether Astral Judicator would. So the thing I'm thinking about right now is this: Summoner Alice and Plague Seraph, they work well by filling out the board and then creating as many power gems as you can. With Plague Seraph, you can create up to 7 power gem 2s. I think it's power gem 2s. If you have a full board of light gems, and let's take a look. So power gem 2s, yeah. So for every 5 gems on the board, so you can create up to 7 there. And with Orion, that will okay, I see. So I think what you would do is you would activate Summoner Alice, and then you would activate. How would you activate this? I think what you do is you activate Summoner Alice first, do a match, and then you would fill out the board with as many gems as you can, activate Orion, then activate Astral Judicator to fill out the board, and then activate Plague Seraph plus Mei. That's how you're going to be able to get the most number of power gems plus light gems on the board to deal damage. That looks good. It looks like a nice team. So I'm not sure if you're looking for a comment there, but it looks like you have already a pretty good team there. So I would definitely go with that. All right. And so Kevin Jackson, you're Crack 69. I could definitely take a look there. And there's a couple other teams, obviously, that I wanted to kind of just talk about, just to see, just kind of show you how they all work out still. So let's see what you've got going on here. I don't see a Light Slayer deck just yet. Right here. All right. So you got Mei the Pitiless, which is good, and you got Indasha, Assault Unit Yoju. So in this particular case, if you had, I wonder whether or not this will actually help you fill the board, but let's take a look. I'm just wondering if there's a better option than Indasha. That's all. So let's see here. Curators of Pain will create 4. Yeah, so this one doesn't create a lot. It'll create 4 Power Gem 2s, and then when stack is bigger than 4s. And also, yeah, so this is not probably a good one there. So you got Pitiless, and so like I would imagine that Swine Lord would actually give you better damage output, but I know that it also is a nuke damage dealer, so that would break the flow, and you'll end up losing a turn there. So that is something I know that we do need to consider. I just feel that in this case, if you're able to level up Ben Daimon, now I don't have Ben Daimon, so I don't know what you need to level him up. I would have assumed that all the things that we've been collecting from the Hellboy chests would have helped level him up, but I would have liked to see that. I think that would have been Dina would have been a good choice for a long-term fight. So if you're looking for if you're looking for a guild sort of boss that is a radiant boss, for example, you definitely want to put in Dina in a deck so that you can increase the Dren intensity and then fill up the board with power gems. Like that is definitely the way to go here if you don't have the Master Collection card and the ultimate form. So Dina is going to be your choice for longer term fights. For short term fights here, I would think that Transform Daimon I think also deals nuke damage, so I don't like the fact that they deal nuke damage. But I think that if you're looking for a bit more damage, I almost feel like even just putting in Dina and having a couple of Dren relics in there, you already have a Dren relic in there, putting in Dina in there to get a couple of Power Gem 2s. Yeah, I think you can get 2 at least in you can get two Power Gems at least from there. That might not be a bad idea, actually. That might not be a bad choice. And so you have some options here. So play around and give it a try here. So I think improvement wise, if you're finding that using Transform Daimon is a problem, what you want to do is you want to activate him first, because he only deals nuke damage if there is 4 Power Gem 4s on the board. So if there isn't, then you're not going to have to worry about the nuke damage. So what you want to do is you want to activate Summoner Alice first, then you activate Transform Daimon, then May the Pitiless, and then the rest of your cards. So that way you avoid the nuke damage, and you can then hopefully deal some good damage there. All right, so let me know if that helps, and let me know if you have any other questions there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically stop here for a second. I'm making sure that I'm not missing anybody else there, but I will also just kind of go in and just kind of show you some of the other decks that I'm playing with. So here's an example, right? So I actually tried this deck. Now, if you have this deck, not many people will, but I kind of wanted to show you that even dark against dark, this deck works really well. Like I really, really like this deck for many different reasons. The fact is, even though I'm not dealing as much damage, I still get the 5 times bonus on my nuke. And so I tried this against an Eternal boss. So I'm not going to deal a ton of damage here. I just wanted to kind of show you how this all works out. So I'm going against Dark, and I don't have the empowerment bonus. I am dealing half of my damage, but with this particular setup, because I'm able to get a full board of power gems, I can still deal about, I believe, 10 billion per card here. So we can see how much damage we can deal per card here. So I can deal up to 5 billion here. So with the nuke, I can also deal 25 billion damage each time I hit, and I can do this continuously. If I can do this quick, I can do this every 3 turns. And so I'm not actually gonna do a full fight here. I just kind of wanted to show you that I was actually using this deck for a little bit, even though it's a weak affinity, but it really works. So this is an example where I think some teams, if it works well, I would say that it's definitely worth it. It has long-term longevity, and this is one of those decks that I think that would continue to stay really valuable for a while. So I'm just gonna let this attack go through, and then I'm going to quit out here. Okay. And so some of the other things that I've been personally thinking about, so like if you take a look at my deck here, right? So like one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to sort of play around a little bit. And then the third thing I was doing was trying to figure out, all right, so what can I do with, some of the cards that we got here? So we got Aurabata, which is actually one of the collection heroes this time. And I was kind of playing around, but I just couldn't quite get, couldn't really quite get the damage that I was hoping for using Morte Thronos. Morte Thronos is good for dispelling things that you get hit with, like Gem Silence or something. You can use that, and also it creates a little bit of power gems. But without a card that will increase the drop rate of light gems, it doesn't really work well. So I guess one of the things I should do here is I should add Orion. So I was actually kind of in the middle of building this deck, so just bear with me for a second. I'm going to try this deck out, and then we'll see how this works. So let's go ahead and change this out, and I'm going to change my relic here to... Actually, I don't need to change this. I'm going to go ahead and use that. So let's give this a try and see how this works out. And for this, I do need to use... I don't think I have... I do have Trader, so I'm going to try this out, and then we're going to kind of see how this works. And this is sort of how I play as well. I usually go up against the guild boss or my tiny bosses when I'm doing deck testing, but given that this is a Slayer event, it doesn't really matter as much. Like, keys are really unlimited there. So the thing with using Orion is you always want to make sure that you use your Orion before you use a card that will destroy gems. And so you want to do this first, and then you can activate, so you can see how much it actually was able to generate there. But because I'm lacking in power gem creation, so you can see like my power gem is really lacking. So even with 3 keys, I'm only able to deal 1.6 billion with my card. And so this is the challenge with this type of deck, is that I don't have the power gem potential there. And so that's something to keep in mind. That's why having a power gem creation ability is so key and so important there. And so let's see, I think I just need one more turn, and then I'll be able to create them again. So I have a little bit more power gems this time. And so let's go ahead and activate them again and see how we do. And so let's do that. And so this should do a little bit better. And, Aurabata really only comes in handy when you're sort of, low in health. So this one is able to deal 9 billion. So I think in this case, I should probably just, change Aurabata for another card that, Ben Daimel, or another card that, can create power gems. And I would be able to deal at least double the damage in that case. All right, let's see who else I'm missing here. So Zuzumac Duck. All right. So it's possible to look at Guard Senga Steel. All right, let's take a look there. And, also let me know, how are you guys enjoying this particular event? There's some changes here, the Hellboy chest, with additional animation and whatnot. What's your feeling? Like, how do you like this so far? How do you like the team? That's also what I'm curious about. So please comment down below and let me know what you think. So Guard Senga Steel. And what are you looking, deck help? Let's take a look and see what you're working with here. So I see already that you have Ilona, so that's definitely a card that you'll want to use there. And so I see the light deck here. So you have the Furthering Force, and since you have the Furthering Force, I think I don't need to look at any commander cards here. I can look at directly the Slayer. All right, so we've got Transform Daimel, Ben Daimel. And we've got Summoner Alice Monahan, and so basically all the support cards here. And like I mentioned, we are sort of lacking on the power gem department. And this is where you have to sort of decide which sort of deck you're building. If you're building a deck that is going to take more turns, so for example, if you're able to lock your boss, and I'm going to show people, for those of you who may be new to the game, I'm going to talk about this concept of locking the boss so that you can see how that works. If you're able to lock the boss, then I would actually put in your Dina in there for sure. So put a copy of Dina in there along with other support cards. Like once you have Dina, it doesn't really matter. I think what you'll want is actually you want to put in Alice Monahan so that you can do some heal, because Alice will heal. Even though it's not going to heal as well as Kokopelli, it still has a good healing ability so that you can survive longer. So for a boss that has bigger health, I would definitely go with the option of using Dina there. And you also have Astral Judicator, although it's just at 5 stars there. So that's the other option. I think depending on your relic situation, Astral Judicator might be a faster option just because you can activate him you can activate her every 3 turns, whereas with Dina it's every 7 turns. And so I would do the longer term deck, put in Dina, and then for a short term deck, I think your best options are probably going to be, let's see here. Yeah, your best bet is going to be probably what you've got there with the Furthering Force. I actually like that because the Furthering Force will create 4 power gems. So you're going to get 4 power gems there, and you have Transform Daimon and Bend Daimon. So all 3 of these cards will create. So this is a turn 3 deck. And instead of Assault Unit Yoju, I would just put in I would either put in Alice Monaghan or I would put in Summoner Alice, because you can then get the 10 times bonus instead of the 4 times bonus from Assault Unit Yoju. And I understand that you probably put him in there so that you can take advantage of the Slayer Relic. So then it's up to you. Give it a try and see whether or not you get better damage output by swapping the Assault Unit Yoju with Summoner Alice, and you can play around with that. But that would be my recommendation. All right. Let's see. Am I missing any comments there? Yeah, I definitely missed quite a bit there. So I'm gonna take a quick look here before I go and look at more decks there. And so I'm just kind of reading through. So let's see. So QCN, I can also check your deck out, and I will definitely take a look in a minute. So Paxton and Sleepless, welcome to the stream. Saberon, Saberon000, also welcome there. All right, so let's take a look and see here. We're also seeing a team with Holy Wing. So Holy Wing is a good choice because it will increase your drop rate. Basically, it's like having a never-ending Orion. So I like that. So it is a pretty good team there. I like that, definitely. All right, let's see. Am I missing anything else? So should I swap out Indasha for Ilona or Arbata or Libra? So if you have Indasha will create, so Indasha actually, I'll just take a look now with my cards. So like the thing about playing cards like Indasha is that it's a good card that will generate gems every 2 turns. Okay, so it's really fast, and every 2 turns you're gonna be able to get some. And if the boss, actually one of the bosses casts Might, so if you're able to dispel Might because it's a buff to the boss, you're also gonna get some heal there. And so what this is really good for is sort of building up that gem every 2 turns. And so in that situation, you're gonna always be building up gems there. And so if you wanted to swap him out, I would definitely not put in Arabata or Libra. I think Indasha, out of all those choices, is probably better than Prism Knight. Or Sang would be good if you have Oglyph as well. Okay, so that would be sort of what I would recommend there. And so let's see. And we've got Joshua Davis and Elliot Underwood, so you got really lucky. So 1 rune away from Ultimate. So, good luck. I hope the best for you. And so one of the things I did want to talk about is, that the challenges with using Amy. And so what I wanted to showcase here is what happens when you put in something like, when you put in a card like Amy, or Daniil in this case. So if we take a look at, so let's do this, and I'm going to swap that card out with Amy. And I'm going to test this out for you to show you why I have a really hard time sort of building this deck into it. And so we're going to go ahead and switch to this deck here. And I'm going to go ahead and do a play. So one of the things that I have a hard time with is Summoner Alice will create gems after a match, whereas Amy will create, multiple color gems, power gems, when you activate her. And so now here's the problem. So if I activate Amy now, and then I do a match, I basically lose all of those power gems. And so I can't really take advantage of that at all. Like if it were scatter, it would have been a lot better. But the fact is that we're all lined up. So you have to activate and then immediately basically overwrite. The other option is not activating her first until later, so then you can see what I have, so what choices I have here. So if I use Summoner Alice, I'm going to wait one more turn for her ability to be available. I'm going to go ahead and use her skill. And then when I do a match, this is where I'm going to get, light gems created. But then if I use Amy at this point, now all of the gems that I created earlier got converted to off-colored power gem. And now I've got to go ahead and try to convert them back if possible. And so if you have enough power gem creators, that's okay. But the fact is, it's actually going to just, number one, cause more confusion. It's really hard to play because it takes time to really think about what you need to do. So, so with all that, with 3 keys, I was able to deal just, 20 somewhat billion damage there. So it's just really hard to maneuver. So in this case, it's better to not use Summoner Alice, but instead to use, Alice Monaghan. Use cards that straight up convert, basically create light gems. If you want to play with the Amy deck, this is going to be a better option for you. I would not use the support cards from that particular event. I forget the name now, but because you're going to be losing a lot of damage. So using your other Alice and using Hellboy is going to be a better choice to convert the gems. Plus, you're going to have more damage because of the Generation 3 cards. And using a Gem Destroyer is going to be bad for Amy type decks because you're going to destroy all of the non-light power gems. So that's something to consider there. I just wanted to show, sort of the cards that work well and that don't work well together. All right. So let's take a look and see. We've got so Matt Alexander. So Matt Alexander, I do see a request for for me to take a look at your deck, but unfortunately I don't know your in-game name, so you're gonna have to tell me that. All right, Mel Fillmore, let's go take a look at your deck, and your in-game name is Dark Summoner. Oops, Dark Summoner. Is it all one word? Yep, Oriona. And let's take a look. The first deck, Hellboy. Oh, hell no. All right, this is the one. So you've got Canis, and I think Canis is another, is also the Gemfall card. And you've got Astral Judicator. All right. So let's see. So let's see what the cards you've got going there. Light Slayer. And so given that you only have the support card from this event here, I think that what you've got there is a good turn 1 deck, and you also do have Dina, so I think that you would know to use that. Rainbow Overdrive is interesting, but it only works against non-light power gems, so it's not really a great card for other decks otherwise. Let's see. So you've got also Astro and Amocles. That's the name of the card I was thinking about. Yeah. So you've got Plague Seraph too. This is an interesting one. So Summoner Alice would help you create gems. So I think what you want to do with this case. This is probably how I would have set it up. The other option would have been for you to use more of your, I think you have more support cards. Let's take a look. Yeah, so you definitely have more Yoju cards. You have at least 2 of them. The other option I would have also considered is to put in 2 Yojus Summoner Alice, 2 Yojus, made them pitiless, and then put in Plague Seraph because you're actually going to be able to fill up the board with light gems, and so you're going to actually quickly get power gems on the board as well. Plus, you have an additional Generation 3 card to deal damage. So that would be the other option that I would try. All right, so see if that improves your damage at all. That would be a good turn 2 deck as well. All right, and let's take a look at the next person is Patrick Spicer. Okay, so Big Spice. And apologies if it feels like I'm taking a little bit longer than usual. I'm looking at the time right now. It's already been 45 minutes, and I feel like I haven't really gone through as many decks. I apologize. There were some interesting decks and some interesting cards I wanted to talk about. So hopefully it's okay. You know, I'm just kind of taking my time here. I'm also explaining as we go through. Let me know if you have questions. And as usual, I would love to be able to go through everybody's decks, but if I don't get to them, please leave a comment, and we can try to also work either afterwards or maybe one of the channels that we can you can join my channel, or there's other channels around. We can all help each other out there. All right, so let's take a look at your deck here and see what we got. So looks like new team here, and it looks like it's probably a team in progress. So let's take a look at what we got in terms of the Slayer deck. So 2 Summoner Alice. If you have 2 of them, I would definitely put them in there. I love the way they work because with 2 of them, you're always going to be able to generate a full board of gems. Like you wouldn't need Assault Unit Yoju in this case at all. And so then what I would do instead is I would put Hellboy in there because it has 10 times bonus. And Swine Lord Junfa, and you got Transformed Daimyo. So Transformed Daimyo is not leveled up, unfortunately, but I think it will still deal more damage than your other cards. So the only other options are to look for cards that generate power gems, and right now I don't see it. You have a 3-star Holy Wing. At some point it will be useful, and so I would start with 2 Summoner Alice, put in Hellboy, Swine Lord, and maybe a Transformed Daimyo, but let's take a look and see what your other options from Commander cards are. And so I think in this case, so I don't see Power Gem spawners. And now one of the things I'm going to do, interestingly, is I'm going to take a look at your dark cards. Okay, so I don't see... What I'm doing right now is I'm looking for gem spawners, and it doesn't really matter whether it's Slayer or not. And so I'm looking at dark cards. Okay, I see Crystal Phoenix, which creates 2 Power Gem 4s. Earth, Kokopelli, Diona. Yeah, okay. So I think in general, basically, probably what you want to do then is to not use those cards, because I think Power Gem is where you're lacking, and so therefore I would put in Swine Lord Junfa and your Daimyo, even though it's a 4-star. So that would be probably the best choice there. Let's see if you've already got that. So yeah, I would replace Arabada with so you've got Summoner Alice, and Hellboy, Transform Daimyo, and Junfa. Put in Junfa, so replace Arabada with Junfa, and you're going to see a lot better damage there. Okay. And we've got, let's see, Judge of All. I am definitely trying to go through in order, and I'm trying not to miss anybody, so bear with me here. Appreciate that. And so let's see what we got. So you've got a really good team that will deal a ton of damage. Even I think if you've got this is the Excalibur. So you got 4 Dren relics, and so that is going to generate 20 intensity every turn. And so on turn 3, that's 60. So that's going to be 6. That's going to be 18 power gems there. I think you're going to be able to deal more than enough damage by turn 3 with this. So that looks good. I'm not sure if you need my help. I think you know how to build decks. I've seen you. I've seen your cards, and I've seen how you play. But I'm gonna take a look anyways. So let's take a look at the Slayer deck here, because what I'm not seeing is a lot of the Generation 3 cards. right? So for in Generation 3 card, that's really where you're going to deal the most damage. And with 2 Summoner Allies, I kind of feel like you actually have a good deck right now with this setup. The other option with the Furthering Force is also a really good one because you are getting basically 8 Power Gem 2s every 2 turns. So I feel like, I mean, with this deck that you're showing there, with all Dren deck, that is probably going to deal even more damage than this might be able to deal. So I feel like I don't think I can actually improve on your deck right there, especially since I see just the support cards for your Generation 3. So I think this is a good setup there. All right, got my thumbs up on that. And I think the next one is Queen Scene, right? So let's take a look at Queen Scene. And just wanted to give a quick shout out to Queen. She is saying she based on the name, a fellow guildmate, and just wanted to say, it's been really awesome playing with you. So let's take a look at your deck, and let's see what we can do. And also, I'm not going to spend too much time here because I can always help you offline as well. So reach out to me afterwards. So let's take a look. So you've got the Master Collection card, so you definitely want to keep that. And you've got Made It Pitiless, and I think basically you want to use your Master Collection card, Made It Pitiless, Transform Daimel, and 2 Summoner Alice. The reason is I think Unknown doesn't actually create 4 Power Gem 4s, so you're not really going to be worrying about the nuke here. So it will create 3 Power Gem 4s. And so what you want to do is build a team that uses two Summoner Alice, Transform Daimel, Anang and Rama, and then Made the Pitiless. And then the way you would activate the deck is actually 2 Summoner Alice first, then Daimel, and then Mei, and then Anang. The order matters here because you want to activate Daimel first before all of your Power Gen 4s are on the board, and then go ahead and activate your other Power Gen 4 spawners, and you're going to be able to deal really good damage there. So that would be the team. That would be the team I would recommend based on what I'm seeing there. Okay. All right. So I am quite far behind, and hopefully you guys are still in the chat for the people that I just helped out there. And let's see. So Debbie Moss. Okay. And let's just see where I left off. And so if there's anyone else, so Queen Femme Fatale, who should I swap out for Holy Wing? Okay, so I can work with you offline. Also, some people have been reaching out to me on the network chat app. So thanks for all the support and all the good sort of the really nice things I've been receiving from you guys. I just wanted to take this opportunity to say, I'm really thankful for all of your support and all of your kind words. This has been really great for me, and hopefully it has been enjoyable and also helpful for you as well. All right, so let's see. So I'm gonna show you guys how to lock a boss, and I'm probably gonna have to stop here because there's a long line of people that wanted to take a look. So I try to generally keep my streams within an hour, and right now we're at 55 minutes. So I'm going to do a couple of fights here just to kind of show some of the mechanics I did talk about, some of the people who are new, and then we're going. And like I said, I'm gonna put in the description the link to my channel. Come join my channel and ask questions there. We can talk about your team as well. So the concept of locking bosses is, in a lot of cases, common knowledge to a lot of people, but for new players, you may not know about this. So what you do is when you have a boss that is spawned by you, and I'm just going to have to wait for one that I spawn in order to show it. But basically, it only works for a boss that you have. And what you would do is you would go in. Imagine that this is your boss. Keep in mind, it only works for your own boss, okay? So what you do is, the first thing you do not do any damage. As soon as you log in, click that little button on the top right, and then click battle. So it uses a key with 0 attack, and at that point, it doesn't matter how many times you attack, nobody else will see that pop up in their battle field, in their battle feed, and no one's going to come in to take it unless you rally to other players. And so the idea is, as soon as you do an attack, so when you enter a battle, as soon as the first attack is registered, that's when it becomes public to other people, and they'll be able to take a look at they'll be able to see it come up, and then they can join and do the fight. And so if you don't deal really enough damage, that's when you will see other people come in and take your boss, right? So here's an example, like, in this case, I had gone in, and had I chosen to attack, I would have been able to take this down, because you can see they didn't really take this out early. And so that's also how people can get MVPs, whatnot, in the matches. So that's the concept. That's the mechanics for how you lock a boss in Slayer. So it only works in Slayer, and it only works against your own boss. Okay? So Zuzu MacDuck, hopefully that answers your question. All right. And so I think at this point, I'm probably going to stop doing the deck building with people, because there's a long line. I don't want to really just, there's a lot of you guys, and I think I'm not going to be able to get through them anyway. So maybe we can spend the next few minutes just kind of, I'll answer any questions that's in chat right now. And then, like I said, come join my channel. And then we can, I try my best to answer there, but there's a lot of really helpful people that also help answer questions there, who do as well as me, or even better than I do, in terms of deck building ideas. So I definitely highly recommend that. All right, so let's take a look here. And so which was the last? I'm sorry, Fillmore. I'm gonna have to go back and remember. I can't quite remember that. So I'll take a look afterwards. All right. So Frida, should you use Alice Monaghan? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of answer the questions on, like, what kind of, what should we be doing with these cards? So I'm going to use this chance to talk about the cards themselves again, and to kind of give you an overall sense of when should you use certain cards. So Alice Monaghan, she is good because she will create gems immediately. She's just like, right off the bat, on the turn you activate her, you're going to get light gems. And so this is good for an immediate use. And what you want to do is you want to activate this card last, always. You always want to activate your regular light gem spawners at the very end. And then cards like Daimel. So Ben Daimel is a card that generates power gems. And it does also boost team attack, which is really good. And this is the card that you want to activate first. So the nice thing about this card is that you don't actually have to worry about any nuke damages, happening, so that you lose any attacks. But at the same time, it only creates 3, so it's a little bit weaker. Whereas cards like Hellboy, that's a ultra rare card. So the cards that I'm talking about, so like, this other Hellboy here, it deals nuke damage and it creates gems. So this is the card that you have to sort of be wary, and you have to sort of think about. But Summoner Alice has a very unique mechanic in that the turn you use her, you can't actually use the gems. So you have to keep that in mind. You have to plan for the next turn. So when you have a Summoner Alice deck, automatically that's going to be a 3-turn deck. So that's something to think about as well. Okay. And so Alice got up to 42 and the rest 9 total billion, damage 151 billion. So Sandra Alvarez, is that after the recommendation I gave you for the deck? That's the damage you were able to deal? If so, that's really good. So congratulations there. Okay. And Lee Smith, just seeing your name pop up here, and I just wanted to say welcome, but unfortunately not going to be able to go through everybody's deck here. And Mario Natera, same thing. Vishal, and appreciate everybody coming to the stream here. And like I was mentioning, unfortunately, I just ran out of time here. But for the rest of you who I haven't been able to get, I wasn't able to help out, please feel free to come join my channel, and also, comment down below, and I will do my best to also answer any questions. And I think there's a lot of people in the community who also do a great job with the deck building there. So we can also get some help there. Okay, so one request here is, for those of you who I have helped, if you wouldn't mind just, comment down below and letting, comment in the video after it's available. Let me know how it worked out. A lot of times, like, because I don't have the team to be able to play it, to kind of show you the mechanics, really what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to take a look at your cards and then also do a play test just to show it. but because I wasn't able to do that, I can't really tell how well it does. So, put in a comment and share your experience and let me know if it worked better, didn't work, or if it stayed about the same, or if you have other ideas that work better. We'd love to hear that. All right. So I'm gonna also keep a list of the people that have requested I wasn't able to get through, and I'm gonna reach out to you, or you can reach out to me afterwards, and we can see what we can do. All right. So that's gonna be it for today's stream. This is 60 minutes on the dot there, so I'm gonna end it right now. Hope everybody have a great event, and I will see you next time for the next event preview. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care. Have a good evening. Have a good morning, wherever you might be. All right. Bye now.